You weren't born to play small. You were born to lead a movement. Let's talk about the price of that calling. Behind every legend, there was a coach. Michael Jordan had Tim Grover. Mike Tyson had Cus D'Amato. Michael Jackson had Cooley Jackson. Warren Buffett had Benjamin Graham. Alexander the Great had Aristotle. You didn't know their names until the world met the ones they coached. You may not know my name yet, but I'm Colin Nicholas George, and together we're gonna make you legendary. If you're building something bigger than yourself, something that outlives you, you're in the right place. This channel is for the visionaries who feel chosen, the builders who refuse to settle, and the few who'd rather be legendary than light. Every video here is a piece of the map. Strategy for your money, power for your mind, and fuel for your spirit. So lock in, because what you're about to hear might be the idea that changes everything. Welcome, I'm Colin George, and this isn't just business talk. It's strategy, it's soul, it's self-mastery. Today, I'm going to break down what no one tells you about being an entrepreneur. Not the Lambos, not the fake hustle, but the truth. This path will test you mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And if you're thinking of stepping into this game, or you're in it and wondering why it hurts, this is for you. Number one, the mental war. Entrepreneurship is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. But no one tells you about the silent wars in your own head. Doubt, anxiety, isolation, the constant feeling of, I should be further by now. You'll wake up and wonder if any of it is working. You'll have months where nothing hits, where your bank account doesn't match your ambition, and worst of all, you'll feel alone even when you're surrounded. Understand this mental trigger tip. This game demands obsession. You either control your thoughts or your thoughts control you. The problem is, when you start your own business, guys, you're gonna have a multitude of things. You're gonna doubt yourself, you're gonna doubt the people, you're gonna doubt your friends, you're gonna doubt your family, you're going to even doubt your own hopes and dreams. The reality is, doubt stems from a lack of understanding. It stems from a lack of education. One of the biggest things that helped me was actually becoming extremely educated as an entrepreneur when it came to taxes, when it came to how to hire people, when it came to using technology in order to streamline and make things easier for me in the business. So doubt stems from a lack of knowing. So in order for you guys to actually remove this doubt, you have to educate yourself. And this is why I recommend digital training platforms and I recommend books. I think so far I've probably read about 300 to 400 books, probably in the last decade. I try to read at least 30 books per year, right? Sometimes I get a little bit more, sometimes I fall right about that. So I'm not one of those guys who say read 300 books in a year. Me personally, I rather not make the time for that. I actually read books multiple times over. So when I tell you 30 books, I've probably read them 2 or 3 times in the year. Why do I say this? Books, one of the biggest things about books is the first time you read it, you never understand it. Actually, I have a perfect book for you, Think and Grow Rich. I've read that book probably about 15 times so far in my career. And I've read its equivalent, Outwitting the Devil, just as much as well. Every time I read these books, I learn something new. And it actually feels as if I've never read the book at all. So that's one of the craziest things about books and why I recommend them. Finding a digital online trainer. The reason I say this digitally is because the reality is, guys, you're going to need things that you can drive to work and listen to. If you're working from home, pop it in before the kids wake up, whatever it may be. Whatever your lifestyle is, I find digital audio to be phenomenal for removing doubt. So let me tell you a trick. Start off with motivation. The motivation will at least get you out of your bed. Then you need to work towards inspiration. Inspiration is an internal thing. You need to inspire the internal battle in order to become successful. And that's where most people fail, is because they doubt themselves, they doubt their business, and they doubt the people with them on the journey. Now, let's get into anxiety. This is one of the number one killers of dreams, being too anxious. Anxiety stems from having huge ambition and terrible work ethic. Now, the reality is, if I have $100 million a year, aspiration, my identity needs to align with that ambition. Anxiety comes from identity crisis. Once you understand that you are suffering from identity crisis, the anxiety slowly subsides. You're better off telling yourself you have to put in work than making yourself think that it's going to be easy. Because at least if you overestimate it, you can scale back and enjoy yourself a little bit more. But if you underestimate it, it will absolutely destroy your work-life balance. The first thing you need to do is change your identity. The number one thing to change your identity, and I will go into more videos about this, is called the law of autosuggestion, which is repetition. You need to repeat the same task over and over, and you need to trick your subconscious mind into fulfilling that ambition. Does that make sense, guys? Awesome. Next one is isolation. This is the craziest thing because it makes you feel like it's not worth it. It makes you feel like life is worthless. When you stop hanging out with your friends, certain family members, and you start isolating yourself, you're like, man, is this really worth it just for this money or just for me to get to this level? I will tell you now, it actually is. Yes, it is. It is 100% worth it. But you have to have the steel. You need to overcome the doubt and the anxiety in order to truly understand isolation. Now, isolation, what do I mean by this? Law of 33%, okay? Or if you want to call it the 33% rule. Now, you need to hang out with people 33% of your time, people who are a little bit lower than you, the career is not as big as yours. Then another 33% of people on the same wavelength as you, and then 33% of the time you're hanging out with people who are way above you. The problem is you need to isolate yourself in order to understand those things. So if majority of your friends are beneath you in your career, the problem is it's going to affect you. Why? Because the conversations that you're going to have are not going to be reflective of your ambition. Now, if you have people on the same wavelength as you, yes, it feels good. The problem is you get too comfortable and you start to plateau. This is why you need people above you, right? And let's say all your friends are net worths are higher than yours and they make more money than you. The problem is you start to feel inferior, and that actually overtakes you slowly. So it's almost like a double-edged sword from each one of these things. This is why it needs to be balanced 33%, 33%, 33%. Okay? I do my best to actually set up my life in this fashion. Reality is, it starts with isolation. Problem, and there's a double-edged sword with isolation. Too much isolation is bad for you as well. You become socially awkward. You actually start to be, the maker of your own downfall. And I see this often, especially since COVID. There's been so much isolation for people, and we're going to correct that, guys. So I have tips and tricks on how to defeat all of these things. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you guys. And the reality is, not everybody's going to tell you the truth about this. They're going to say, entrepreneurship is great. I'm here to tell you the fucking truth. It is shit, but the rewards are amazing. Segment number 2, spiritual warfare. This game isn't just psychological, it's spiritual. You'll question your purpose, you'll face delays, detours, and doors will be slammed in your face. People will doubt you, betray you, even curse your name. If you don't have a relationship with your inner compass, let's call it God, intuition, or your higher self, you will break. This path strips you of who you were and refines you into who you're meant to be. Let's get into this. One of the biggest things that most people fail with is they don't ask themselves, why am I doing this? Money alone is not enough. So if you're watching this video, I want you to write this down and answer this question carefully. Why am I doing this? You need to know why you are doing this. For instance, I started this YouTube channel. I know I have a vast amount of information that I provide to the world, and the fastest way I could do that is with platforms like YouTube, Instagram, social media, Facebook, whatever it may be. I know why I am doing this. I'm looking to build my personal brand. I'm looking to help people. I'm looking to actually make an impact in my world. Because I can't change the world, but I can actually impact my world and slowly help other people in there as well. You need to understand, you need to pick whether you're, Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're Catholic, whether you're spiritual, whether you're Buddhist, Hindu, whatever it may be, does not matter. What does matter is, are you willing to endure the disciplines of your religion or your practice in order to acquire spiritual wealth, financial wealth, and physical wealth? Every scripture talks about this. You have to be willing to endure in order for God to give you what you deserve. Now, what most people don't understand, in order to become successful, it's going to be a decade minimum battle. Most people quit in year 2 or 3 when they haven't seen any success because they don't have the necessary skill in order to overcome the obstacle. I will be teaching you guys what I mean by this. The physical toll. Let's talk about your body. The sleepless nights, the adrenal fatigue, the coffee for breakfast, skipping workouts, ignoring your diet, and here's the catch. The body keeps score. Your body will crash even if your schedule doesn't serve it. You can't pour from an empty cup. High performers train like athletes, and this is something I had to learn. One of the biggest things I had to learn is I needed to go back, because I used to be a great athlete growing up. I lost a lot of that physique just to make money, and that really hindered a lot of my progress over a 10-year period. When I first started making a lot of money, I ate whatever I want. I didn't go to the gym as often. I made excuses. Hey, I have work. I'm too busy. I don't have time for the gym. If you don't make time for the gym, you're going to eventually have to make time for your health. And that's just reality. Right now, I train very heavy so that over the long period, when I get into my 60s and 70s, I've already dealt and built the muscle-mind connection, as well as told my nervous system that, hey, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. But that's something that we'll talk about further down the road. Please understand that, guys, when you are entering the fray into becoming an entrepreneur. Because the reality is, if you don't take care of the health part, you're gonna get destroyed. Dealing with people. Dealing with people is one of the hardest things I could possibly say I've ever done in my entire life. People, the fake support, the ghosted deals, team members who promise the world and deliver absolute excuses. Clients who want discounts but expect miracles. You'll lose friends, family members won't understand, and you'll have to lead people who doubt your leadership into the promised land. But what I learned, people don't follow what you say, they follow your standard. So, in order for you to become a good leader, you have to set the tone, cut fast, never expect from others what you haven't demanded of yourself first. Leadership is doing the hard things first. It's telling the truth even when it costs you a follower. After all this, you might be thinking, why even do it? Because this is the only path that gives you full freedom, whether it be spiritual freedom, mental strength, financial independence, the ability to walk into a room and know, I built this. Every scar is proof you didn't quit. Every lesson is a tool for the next level, and every challenge becomes a story that inspires someone else. When you grow, everyone around you grows. That's what legacy is. This is not a job, this is a calling. So, when you guys are looking at yourselves in the mirror and you're wondering, what the hell am I doing? Well, the reason you are here is you chose this path. The reality is, if you couldn't handle it, God wouldn't have chosen this path for you to begin with. So, when I tell myself these things, it gives me extraordinary strength while doing so. I've gone through a lot of bullshit. I've had people snake me, talk reckless about me. I've lost millions of dollars. I've made millions of dollars. You know, I've done it all in a sense. The reality is it's all been worth it. I have a beautiful family. I make a lot of money. I spend time with great people. I have no complaints, to be honest with you. But I'm not sure if I would be this positive if I didn't come out on the other side. That's the reality. But once I tell you, if you have the ability to endure, the ability to suffer, it will be all worth it at the end of the day. So you have to understand this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So you're going to need coaches. You're going to need mentors. You're going to need the right strategies. You're going to need every tool fucking possible to make it. Being obsessed. What does that mean? That means you are willing to give up and sacrifice anything in order to acquire your objective or get to your target. Meaning, I may have to cut off some friends, even some family members, may have to stop drinking alcohol, may have to start going to the gym more than I wanted to. But the reality is, I need to give up something first. Then, when I give something as a sacrifice, what I can do is start adding obsession to my craft. Now, you guys need to understand this. There is no such reality as something for nothing. A toll is required for success, which means you're going to have to go through periods where you have no money and you're learning so much about your craft that you don't give a fuck about the money at this time. You don't give a fuck about the money. All you care about is the obsession of being the best in your industry, the best at your craft, the best at what you are doing. That is what it takes in order to be successful. I'm Colin George, and I'm here to help you get to the next level. I want you to click the link below. If you want to hear more from me, comment. If you believe what I'm saying is true or false, I want negative and I want positive comments, because that is life. There is no light without dark. I understand that. So whether you're a naysayer, whether you believe in every word that I say, I am grateful. Because the reality is, nobody even has to speak your name. So, if you guys don't understand that sometimes in life, you just have to push forward, the rest of your life is going to be pushing. So just push forward. Every lesson is a tool for the next level. And every challenge becomes a story that inspires someone else. Remember, this is not a job, it's a calling. And God has called you. My name's Colin George. I'll see you next time.